From the heart of Europe to the world, this is RTI.
It sure is, and for the first time ever, I can say welcome to the entire RTI network, broadcasting on RTI 1 and RTI Gold simultaneously. It's Postcard From Poprad. Wow! I mean, how amazing is that? I'm Eric Wiltsher at the base of the lovely Tatras Mountains, covered in snow. The airport is open, the roads are open, the trains and buses are all running on time, and yet in England it's all going into froze down. Not meltdown, but froze down. It's Leigh Banks.
Why are you covered in snow?
Because it snows here.
Well, you should be inside when it's snowing, you'll get cold.
No, it's not a problem here at all.
It's not cold when it snows in there.
Do you not realise that I stand outside on the balcony every Friday in my shorts doing the programme?
I know you do, dear. I know you do, and that's why you get arrested every Friday afternoon.
Anyway, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm very stressed, and so's Rachel. We're both very, very stressed as you were listening to our private conversation. So we are really stressed and really upset. And this snow thing in Britain, what a load of rubbish.
I know.
Might knock down certain parts. I have to be gentle with certain parts. And some people have actually had a bit of snow, you know.
What, one flake?
Well, yeah, some have had it like stuck in the... Oh, no, I can't go down that.
No, don't go there.
Yes, one flake. One flake.
That'll do. Rach, how are you, darling?
I'm all right. A bit tired. It's been a big week. There's been no snow here, and everything's still running on time.
Really?
We've managed to sell some property. Oh, it's just been a big week.
All right. Well, I've got to do a couple of quick. An apology first, because I haven't been taking the notice of the new people joining the RTI family on Facebook. So I've just picked out 10 randomly to say hello to, and this goes to everybody in the past weeks. There's hundreds of you joined the family this week. Hi to Sam, who's in Phnom Penh in Cambodia. To Mikko Kallio, he's in Finland. Hello, Finland. We could say TAC in Finland, I can do that. Kevin Liberton, he works for the NHS in the UK. Saeed, he works in Abu Dhabi in the UAE. And Nasib, now, I don't know quite how you say this, Nasib, but you're from Waziristan, wherever that is. I'm going to get this one wrong as well. Najabullah, Dawar. Now, apparently, he's a bus driver in Abu Dhabi and listens in his bus, which we kind of like. John Holland, he's from Barclays Wealth, don't you know? Very upmarket we are here. Catherine Hoxie, she's from the Boys and Girls Club of America. And thanks to the people in America that have been promoting us this week, because apparently we're child-friendly. We don't use naughty words on the radio, which is it's not needed. So thank you for that. Terry Richards is in the UK and Jeffrey Edge is up in Scotland. We're going to try and go straight in to a special guest this week. Before we start all the newsy stuff. It's the Queen of Daytime TV in the UK, who would probably give me a slap if she saw my girth. Hello. She would probably give me a slap if she saw my girth at the moment and tell me I'm a lazy so-and-so or something like that, which is she's probably the only person in the world who can get away with it. It's none other than Debbie Flint. Hello, Debbie.
Oh, bless you. Yes, I haven't been keeping my eye on your girth. Perhaps we should have some private words afterwards.
Yes, I think I would be in deep trouble, beyond belief. Anyway, how are you, darling?
Yes, very well, thank you. In very sunny but cold Devon at the moment.
Oh, why is everybody...
What's it like over there?
Well, it's warmed up today. It's -6. All the pavements are covered in snow, so is the grass. The buses are running on time, the trains are running on time, the international airport's open, people are walking around, nobody gives a damn. And last night the gritters were out, the snowplows were out, cleaned all the snow off, so everybody goes to work today.
Yeah, see, that's the way to do it.
I know. But you're not here to talk about the weather, dear. You're here to talk about something a little bit more interesting, and we don't tell her I told you. But Rachel wants to know about her diet as well.
Okay.
Because
so what have you...
Go on.
Oh, mine's not a diet. We can't call it diets. We call it lifestyle changes.
Yes, exactly that, Rachel. I can't do diets, can you?
No.
No, they don't work, and because they've got the word "die" in them.
Ah.
Yes.
There
And you
is
feel like
one.
you are.
But guys, there is one diet I can do.
Go on.
The seafood diet.
Yeah.
Bums.
Mine's really simple. Mine's really simple. It's just about clean eating, no naughty starches and no naughty complex carbs and no sugar. And I've also gone off dairy and wheat because that was just something I wanted to detox with. But basically it's just be mindful of what you put in your mouth. If your granny wouldn't recognise it, don't eat it, and make sure you get off the couch and do some walking.
Yes, and that's all absolutely brilliant, and loads of people can do that, and that's fantastic. Do you know what the problem is, though? Soon as nothing's wrong with what you're saying, and in an ideal world, everyone should eat that way. Of course they should, because that's how we were evolved, and that's how I do try to. When I'm, left to my own devices, and my body's telling me what it wants. It generally wants clean stuff, and it feels rubbish when I've had dairy, etc. But soon as I'm told I can't, then I want to. Mm-hmm. So freedom eating, which is what this book is based on, what I've been doing for 16 years, 17 years now. Well, more than that, actually. Eric remembers the first time I got into it. It's all about complete and utter freedom. This is at the lowest, broadest level. But you can also use it, because not everybody has the same mentality as me. If you love dieting, which my sister does, she uses the freedom eating principles, and there are just 6 basic rules alongside any traditional diet to just take the heat off. And what the whole thing about freedom eating is to try and avoid those eat all the cupboards and start again tomorrow as soon as you've been bad, in inverted commas. So if I tell myself I can have it, it's no longer treasure, and actually I don't want it. Otherwise, as soon as you tell me I can't do something, I want to do it, even if I didn't want to before.
Yeah. Do you know what, Debbie? That kind of, I get that, because there are a lot of foods that are available, and I'll tell you one of them straight away: pork pies. Now, the minute I set foot in good old GB, I have to go and buy a pork pie. But when I get back here, I don't actually miss them because they're not available to me. And it's kind of like what you're saying. If you know you can do it, it's kind of like, well, I don't really want to then. If you know what I mean.
Well, that's the way my mind works. So if anyone's listening to this and thinks diets never work for me, I go on a diet. I have all the best intentions in the world. Every January I buy the new diet books. Every summer I'm looking at the magazine articles and features in newspapers, etc. But you go on a diet, you come off a diet. And the problem with that for me is it's never long term, and it's not long term for the majority of people who go to these slimming clubs either. A few people, yes, but not everyone. So when I discovered it, I was about easily 12.5 stone, 35 pounds overweight, something like that. I was working at QVC, and designer jackets had stopped. We're just about to stop being able to disguise it all. There's only so far designer jackets could go back in the day, with a slightly bigger shoulder pads, sitting up straight, and Spanx. But I read this book, and the first thing that I said on the show afterwards was, stop when you're satisfied, not when you're full. Do you mean you don't keep eating till you can't breathe anymore? Which was what I'd always done. Yeah. Because you know what it's like, we're brought up to finish what's on your plate, think about the starving children in Africa, eat your vegetables before you can have the treats, which are the sweet stuff. We're rewarded with sugary rubbish for any reason under the sun, and we celebrate with food, whether it's someone's birthday, someone's university celebrations, whatever the occasion, food is reward. But if you start thinking to yourself, do I really, really, really want it? Not, I know I shouldn't have it. I'll just allow myself this one, and I'll just have 2, and I'll have 5. Finish the packet and start again tomorrow. If we've all done that, which was, my awakening, reading that very first book and listening to that very first audio tape for some people that came on QVC, we've all done that. And if someone at home is nodding, you need to look at this book. Even if you just go to my website, debbieflint.com, look at the TTFLS page, or just read the inside bit on Amazon. You can read the first chapter, see if it works for you. But so many people have read it and said, oh my God, it was like reading about myself and my journey. And can there really be an answer? And the answer is yes.
Well, I've got a question for you from Michelle. She's one of our regulars in America. Hi, Gal. How are you? I trust you well. I trust you well. She cannot have any flour products.
Okay.
Does it work?
Well, yes, it will, because there's part of the process where you listen to your body afterwards. And this is the real key. And if someone says, yeah, but if I could have whatever I wanted, I'd have stuffed my face with sugar and I don't think most people do. There is something, though, Rachel, about getting off sugar. And part of my recommendations are try really hard to get off a sugar addiction, because if your body's full of sugar or needs sugar and you've got a sugar addiction, and it's very easy to slip back into, you can't actually listen to your body's signals quite as easily. So if someone says, I've plateaued on the diet, I'm just following all the recommendations, I just don't understand. Well, what are you eating? Well, I have muesli and fruit in the morning and loads of fresh fruit juice. And it's like, no, it's full of sugar and it's keeping you addicted, and that's a whole different thing. So there's that side of it. There's also the fact that there's this new technology and mind-blowing new science about gut bacteria. I don't know if you've looked at it much.
No.
The microbiome is the new frontier of medicine. Look on YouTube, watch a video called Gut Reaction Parts 1 and 2. And if anyone wants to convince themselves it's time to give up sugar, watch the original YouTube sensation by Professor Robert Lustig, the granddaddy of all these things, called Sugar, the Bitter Truth.
All right.
So once you've kind of got yourself off of the I'm not saying finish it forever, because if I'm told I can't, I want to, remember? So I go, what do I really feel like? Well, if I have sugar, the next morning, my joints ache, right? So it's like an arthritic reaction. If I have sugar, I feel absolutely whacked out about 3 hours later. And sometimes I get a headache. And if I've not had any sugar at all for a month, I'll actually, if I have some and too much of it, I'll get hangover symptoms.
Wow.
So
I get depressed. I get depressed.
Yes.
Really
Yes.
depressed.
Yeah. Well, that's all is connected via what they call the vagus nerve. I've been reading about this since it came available with a book called Gut by a girl called Julia Enders. It's absolutely fascinating, great audiobook as well. And for me, the more knowledge I have, this is also one of the principles, it arms me with the ability to make better decisions. And if I know about all this stuff,
we've lost Debbie.
Oh, no. That was very interesting.
Good.
It was getting good. Debbie, are you still there?
to myself what I can and can't have.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah, we lost you for a second there, Debbie. Can you go start that again, please?
Oh, sorry, from where?
When you just after the doctor and the videos.
Oh, right. So, oh, gosh, okay. Yes, so the Sugar, the Bitter Truth is one of the videos.
Yeah.
And if you can listen to all of those and arm yourself with information, it's a permanent science project. I say treat yourself like a science project. Make it fun. And every time you have something that's wrong, you'll learn, you'll think, you'll examine your body afterwards, and you'll go, right, there's no bad, there's only learning. There's no judgment, there's only observation. And that freedom is incredible. So it stops you going, I'm going to repeat the habits of a lifetime, break the diet today, start again on Monday. And how many times do we do that and go up and down the same two stones?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to interrupt you for a minute because I've got another email from our Stella Peters, who always writes into us, and bless her cotton socks for being here every week. Stella wants to know if this is expensive. She's on a limited budget, and if it's high-end cost food, then she's stopped before she started, so to speak.
This is not about the food. This is about mindset. You don't have to buy any specific food. What you have to do is really listen to your body and see what it wants. And what people say to me is actually they spend less money on the food budget because when they're actually freedom shopping. So if you're doing freedom eating, you're really listening to what your body wants. If you're going around the store going, do I want that packet of cakes? Do I want to bring that home? Do I want it? A lot of the time, when you're really in tune with your body, you're finding you don't want it.
Right.
And also, when you're doing this, one of the principles is stop when you're satisfied, not when you're full. And that's a really key thing. Satisfied is about a fistful of food. You can save the rest for later, and that's perfectly okay. You know, I really advocate don't waste it, don't throw it away. Mm-hmm. Wasting it is actually eating it now when your body doesn't need it. The analogy is filling up the petrol tank when it's full and it all overspills. It doesn't need it right now. Eat till you're satisfied is what your body needs. There are little signals, little clever little keys in the book that tell you how to decide when you're satisfied. Then stop. Now, what that does is it cuts down your food bill.
Ah, gotcha. Michelle said...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go first, Rachel. I'll do Michelle's in a minute.
While I've been doing this clean eating program, which I've been doing for a few months now, I try and adopt a mindfulness approach when I eat.
Yeah.
So to slow down and be mindful of every mouthful. So
100%.
I concentrate on what I'm doing, and rather than gutsing it into my face.
Can I interrupt?
Yes.
Because I'm constantly told that I eat too fast. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, don't.
I don't get that. Because, I am a busy kind of guy, allegedly. And for me, shoveling down the food, which took place at 30 minutes ago, dinner was there, so I lumped down because I've got to get in to be on air. So to me, it's like, and I'm always told, my mum used to say, you don't chew anything. And I'm thinking, that's what my tummy's for, isn't it?
But Uncle Eric, you have to create time for yourself to be able to do these things in a healthy and mindful way. And you've got to allow your brain to realise that you've had enough.
Yeah. If Eric, that I could answer, this is about a 20-minute answer, but just in real short terms, to do with freedom eating, one of the principles is also exactly what Rachel said. Do nothing, give the food your full attention. How many times have we eaten the cookies and suddenly it's like, where did the last one go? While you're watching the telly, while you're driving. Never eat while you're doing something else, because it's a lovely, exquisite experience. And if you're a foodie and you love your food, give the food your full attention and do nothing else whatsoever. That also helps you to realise when you're satisfied, not when you're full. Second thing is physiologically, and again, these videos I mentioned online, Sugar the Bitter Truth in particular, do talk about hormones, the hormones that are released within the body, leptin and ghrelin in particular, which are the hunger and satisfaction hormones, and your body has to have time to get those signals through. So if you're shoving it all down, you'll probably miss the sort of key moments when your body would have said stop. But also with gut bacteria, there's bacteria in your mouth. So the enzymes in your mouth start to break down the food. It's not about what your stomach's for at all. So if you can, just try it, Eric. Just try it next time. Cut yourself off from doing anything else whatsoever. And I know you. Don't look at the phone. Don't talk to anyone. Don't plan what you're going to do for the next 3 hours. Don't work out in your head the response you're going to give that burning email that needs. Like, literally do what Rachel said and give it your full attention.
Right. Well, listen. We have got a bit of news to do in a minute, so I'm going to have to throw you away in a minute. But first off, the email from Michelle was actually Debbie. She didn't have a pencil or no, she's pen actually. I lied. Sorry, Michelle. A pen and paper handy because you gave an address out and she couldn't write it down because she didn't have any. She's now got her pad there, and so can you give out a web address again, please? Yes.
All my information about everything is on my website. So if you remember my name, it's debbieflint.com, DEBBIEFLINT, as in Flintstones.com. And then you'll see TTFLS, which is Till the Fat Lady Slims page. Otherwise, if you just search Till the Fat Lady Slims on Amazon, you'll see it all on there anyway. But the other thing is, if you want to get in touch with me, I'm at Debbie Flint on Twitter. I'm happy to reply.
Oh, right.
Or even info@debbieflint.com, and I'll email you the links.
Right. Okay. There you go, Rach. You're off. You're rolling.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna incorporate Debbie's excellent advice into what I'm doing now.
So Rachel, can I just quickly say, I know you've got to go, you guys, but if all you do is use it as a fallback, there's such key things. We've got a massive Facebook group where they talk about the fact that sometimes we go on the wayside, and the wayside is fine. The wayside is part of the journey. don't panic and think you've got to start again tomorrow. Just don't set up camp there.
Yeah.
The Facebook group is the same thing. Till the Fat Lady Slims. Just search that and come and join us.
All right. Well, Debs,
I'll do it right this second, right now. I will.
Yeah, do, and let me know how you get on, because you can use it seriously with any diet whatsoever. And the 6 principles are very easy to follow, and they're in the book that's out now.
Brilliant.
Excellent.
Debbie, I know you're a bit pressed for time as well, because you've got to get back to London from Cornwall.
I'll drive to London. I'm on QVC tonight. Yeah.
Are you what are you doing? No, you're not. Are you on TSV tonight?
Not tonight. I'm doing tomorrow night's one, which is very handy. Lakeland Era for clothes, which I'm using at the moment here in the retreat that I run in Devon for writers to air all the washing. But yes, Eric, I won't get you into a list of my hours, but I'm on this Saturday, Sunday as well.
Really? So what are you doing tonight then? Do you know?
That's a really good question. I don't have my diary with me.
Oh, well, I know. Don't worry. No, do you know what time you're on?
I'm on at 7, 9 and 11, I believe.
So 7, 9, 11, which is 8, 10 and 12 in Central Europe, because we can watch QVC here, easy on the satellite.
Yay! Yeah, and you can watch it on the app.
On the app as well, yeah, of course.
Online.
Debbie, It's been a great pleasure to have you on the programme. Thank you so much for taking the time. Please drive carefully back into London, babe. Take it easy, because there's going to be a load of Sunday drivers out there today. I can feel it in my water. I'll bet there is. All right, see you soon, darling. Safe journey. Take care. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. Debbie Flint there, the lady from QVC, who's been there forever. And I'm sure she does know me well and can probably tell you some really bad stories, but we won't go there. DebbieFlint.com is the place to find out more. And she is right, because I've tried it before and I kind of went wayward a bit. And the daft thing is, it does save you money. And if for no other reason, when you're walking around, and it's funny, that bit is still in my head, and it's the one thing that she has achieved, is that when you walk round and you do see the chocolate-covered biscuits, and you think, I don't need them. I actually don't need them. And she's absolutely right about it. And it will, as... who was it who asked the question? I can't remember now, because there's always loads of emails. Stella, that's right. Honestly, Stella, it will save you money. And if you are on a limited budget, you'll be amazed. I know that if you're on a limited budget, you shop carefully now anyway. But I'll almost bet you that it will save you money if you go onto this diet that Debbie was talking about. Because it's not a diet. You eat.
It's a lifestyle change.
Yeah, absolutely. And there you go. I noticed Mr. Banks was very quiet during that.
I was listening.
He's eating.
Yeah.
I'm eating, actually. No, I was listening. No, I actually wanted to make a comment, but I couldn't get my way in without actually barging in, so I didn't bother. Oh. But what I was going to say is, and I think this supports what Debbie's saying, that about 6 months ago, I went to the doctors and I thought I weighed about 17.5 stone. I felt quite sweltered and everything. It was slim. I looked gorgeous when I saw myself in the mirror. What I didn't realise is that I got body dysmorphia, and actually I was just under 21 stone.
No.
Body dysmorphia.
The doctor sort of advised you. I think you should, even though you're 6'5", 21 stone's a bit overweight, really. And he complimented me on the fact that I didn't have a beer belly and that I was quite muscly in the right places. And so I decided to go on a diet. And in that 6 months, I've lost about 1.5 stone, possibly 2 stone. I'm not really checking, but I've done it basically by doing what Debbie was saying. And I looked at it more like sensible eating. I will walk around the supermarket, see chocolate biscuits. I ain't interested in chocolate biscuits. Mentally now, I'm interested in fruit and vegetable-based products.
Funny that, isn't it? It is amazing.
Yeah, I still eat meat now and again.
I'll give you a Robbie update, if you like.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Robbie's has just been astoundingly good. He's up to 35 kilo.
What?
Which is enormously excellent. I mean, I just convert it for you so that I know exactly how much that is.
75, nearly 80 pounds.
Yeah.
What, he's lost 80 pounds?
Yes.
He can't have done. That's How many stones is that? That's like 6 stone.
4,
Yes.
2, 4.
He's lost 6 stone.
Nearly 6 stone, yeah.
In how long?
3 months.
You're joking. 2 stones a month?
Yep.
That's a stone every fortnight, half a stone a week.
You know what's that? That's just giving up. That's just giving up sugar.
Has he given up beer?
Yeah, he's given up. Well, he stopped drinking booze for the first month, and he has a glass of wine every now and again. But
see, that's the one thing I've not done. I carried on drinking. I'm on a drinking man's diet.
Well, there's so much fat in alcohol. It's ridiculous. There's just a lot. There's a lot. It's some.
There is. You're quite right.
Really
You're absolutely right.
That's it. But we've given up sugar. We gave up dairy, and the big thing for us was giving up bread.
I've heard this. I've carried on eating dairy, bread, and drinking, and yet I've still lost weight.
But I'm not suggesting that everybody should do what we've done and go
to it's the freedom diet.
Existence. We did it initially to sort of get on the right track and to detox and get rid of all the yucky out of our bodies, etc. But now it's just, I had some dairy for the first time in 3 months the other day, and I was sick as a dog.
Really?
I was horribly ill. Yeah.
What, did you try eating a cow?
Anyway, guys, we've got to move on because we've got so much to get through this week now.
We've got to do dead people, haven't we?
We have, which kind of links in with overeating, really, doesn't it, I suppose? But anyway, if you just joined us, the conversation was with Debbie Flint, and if you want to find out more, go to debbieflint.com. That's DEBBIE Flint, FLINT, all one word.com. And there's Facebook pages, the Twitter things there, and as you heard, she's very happy to talk to anybody and converse more if she can help you as well, which is a great thing. Thanks for that, Debbie. Peter Sarsted has died at the age of 75. Oh. But I wasn't. I have to say, his second song, Orange Juice, was probably my favourite.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a load of rubbish.
No, it got more go in it than Where Do You Go to My Lovely?
No, Where Do You Go to My Lovely had romance and charm and wit.
You're just a ballad hater, Uncle Eric.
Well, I know that.
He is, actually, isn't he?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I am.
He's a dirty anti-balladite.
It is true that when I've been kind of hijacked or press-ganged into doing some music programs on RTI Gold, and the girls laugh at me and they go, "Which ballads have you deleted now?" Because I can't do it. I don't. I like happy radio.
I like ballads. I like ballads. I like songs that talk about death and destruction.
I like songs that tell a story, and ballads do that really well.
Yeah, exactly.
What you got to do is listen to a country station, play it back.
They're not all ballads. That's so rude about country music. Country music. There was a discussion on Facebook that we got involved in, and I had a sulk with somebody, so I got out of it. Where they said about rock music. Well, rock music is actually, everybody's going on about rock music. Anybody really knows where rock music comes from now. Rock music is basically a marriage of country music and rock and roll based on drugs and psychedelia.
Well, true. Which brings us nicely
to love story.
Yeah, which brings us nicely to poor old Buddy Greco, who's died, the singer and pianist. Absolutely brilliant. Great. What was he?
Great. The king of swing.
I love swing. I love the Rat Pack. I think they're amazing. And people that suggest one Mr. P is anywhere near Sinatra needs to take tablets.
I think you need to listen to my show last week where we elected a new king of rock and roll.
I know you did.
Yeah.
I know you did. I know
he was better than Mr. Presley, and he still is. That's the difference. He's still better than Mr. Presley because he's still alive.
Anyway, poor old Buddy Greco's died. He was a fantastic musician, actually.
Poor old Buddy.
Yeah. Michael Chamberlain, whose daughter Azira was taken by a dingo years ago. He's passed. Just refresh our minds with that, Rach, please.
Azaria Chamberlain was taken by a dingo in 1981 at the base of Uluru, which was then known as Ayers Rock.
Yes.
And her mother was imprisoned found guilty of her murder and imprisoned for about 6 years while she was pregnant. So she had a baby and had it taken away from her. Michael Chamberlain was found to be an accessory after the fact and given an 18-month suspended sentence. They were exonerated finally, but it took 32 years for that to happen.
Wow.
And they eventually found evidence to show that this baby had been taken by a dingo, but their whole life was plagued by this terrible thing that happened to them that wasn't their fault. And it was really horrible and very contentious, but he's passed away from complications relating to leukemia at 72, and he's finally at peace, but he did die knowing that they had his whole thing was that he didn't want to be found not guilty, he wanted to be found innocent. Yeah. And they finally exonerated him. The Crown finally exonerated them. The Commissioner up in the Northern Territory got their backsides handed to them because of the appalling way that was handled. And now may he rest.
Good, absolutely. The former Watford manager and England manager, although probably better known for Watford, Graham Taylor has died.
And Aston Villa.
Well, I was getting there. And Aston Villa, of course. But I think he was better known for Watford for all the amazing things he did at Watford. He took them from what
Not
was...
if you're an Aston Villa fan.
Well, that's true. But he took them for Watford from what was then the fourth tier of football in the UK to the top tier. In amazing turn of... it was just completely turned on its head, the whole club. And yet he kept the club spirit going. And Graham's died at the age of 72, which is really sort of tragic. And he worked with Elton John, and at the time that he was the owner of the club. It's just such a sad thing that he's gone so quickly with a suspected heart attack, which is really very, very sad indeed. Because he was one of those old style gentlemen. Yeah, gentlemen.
Old style player manager.
Yeah.
Oh, he wasn't a player, was he? Did he play?
He did play. He did play because he started. He started before that, but he actually started at Lincoln as a manager before he joined Sir Elton John. But he was just a gentleman of football, and he was the kind of guy where, you know, if you attributed the beautiful game to somebody, you could attribute it to Graham Taylor because he was that nice guy. He was.
Are you saying that football's a beautiful game?
It is.
It's a load of rubbish.
Thank you.
It's all about kicking the Vikings' head around, and how can that be a sport?
I don't know. We squeezed one more in before the break. Victor Lowndes has died. He was the guy that worked to establish Playboy with Hugh Hefner back in 1954, of all things. And the funny thing is, do you know, for some reason, and I don't get it, Playboy has still got that adult style connection, which it never really was it? Never.
Well, it was.
What?
It showed ladies bits and pieces.
Yeah, but it was arty. It was classy.
It was classy. Playboy was classy, and it also employed extremely well-known writers and paid extremely well for them. And that really is where its classiness came from. But actually, when you think about it, it was just soft porn. Old Hugh Hefner was just a soft porn merchant.
Yeah.
I think we'll leave it there. I've got to take a commercial break, boys and girls. Back in a minute.
From the heart of Europe to the world, this is RTI.
RTI.
Everybody okay? Remember your training, all right?
RNLI lifeboat crews are unpaid volunteers. They rescue 22 people every day. On a lifeboat, training is a matter of life and death, and it costs £1,000 a year for each crew member. As a charity, we receive no UK government funding, so our crew's safety depends entirely on your donations. Please call 0800 543 210 and donate £20 or whatever you can afford. Because next time, This could be for real.
RTI.
That's us, RTI and RTI Gold, the network broadcasting together. Postcard from Poprad, we're here, and we've got to do this. Everybody's in a bit of a panic as there's evacuations going on, flights are being cancelled, hurricane winds are there. In fact, even Sky News was live on Facebook earlier, going through everything, because this really weird weather has hit the UK, and in fact the military have also been deployed to certain parts of the UK, at which point we hand over to Leigh for the update.
Well, there isn't really a major update to it. It's very cold, and in certain parts of Britain it's very snowy, and in other parts of Britain it's very rainy, and in other parts of Britain it's a bit chilly. And where I am, there's a little bit of snow and it's a little bit cold. We have gone completely over the top with this yet again. It's a bit of snow, Britain. That's all it is. There are certain areas where like in the coastal areas, some places apparently have 9-foot snow drifts. But we've had 9-foot snow drifts around here in the past, and we just got on with life. That's because we're country people and we come from the village of the damned. But it's quite easy to get on with life. We don't have to just fall over and die just because it's a bit snowy, Britain.
But they've evacuated places like Jaywick, which is near Clacton, due to fears of flooding, and these. Well, I presume that's to do also with the tide, being as they're on the coast. So you get high tide, extra rain could be a problem. But it does seem to me as if, because last year there were so many problems and everybody got into trouble, that this year everyone's gone over the top the other way.
Well, I think it is, because if you look at the stories about it, like I'm looking at the Daily Mail. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody else, the Daily Mail.
No, you've got it wrong. It's the Daily Moan.
No, it isn't. Well, here you are. Let's just shoot that down as we speak. Here's the headline. Yes, I survived the Great Blizzard of 2017. And all the forecasts of the snow storms are met with a flurry of hilarious tweets and mocking the meltdown in the capital. And that's because nothing's happened. Yes, certain areas have certain problems, but that happens on a daily basis. Yes, they've had to clear out a town just in case it floods. And they've said another place has got 9-foot snowdrifts. But the rest of Britain is going round sending out tweets and all sorts of things, just taking the mickey out of yet again, Britain coming to a halt because of a snowflake.
I know.
You know what? It's funny. I have a really deep appreciation for this now that because it's a year ago that I was in New York, and we got caught. I can't believe it's a year already, but we were caught in that blizzard, which was the second largest blizzard in New York's history by a quarter of an inch. But I remember thinking, this is extraordinary. First of all, I'd never seen that much snow in my life. But the precision with which the Department of Sanitation and the guys in New York got this sorted, a blizzard, and they had it sorted really quickly.
Exactly. That's what I don't understand.
No,
that's what I don't understand about Britain. No. This happens to us on a yearly basis, but every year we panic and go, oh my God, look, it's snowing, what shall we do?
Well, I actually put
every year.
I put a video from not this Wednesday, the Wednesday before, on Facebook this morning, which I took outside of my home to show proper snow coming down. And the next morning, all the roads were clear, everybody went to work, the airport was open, the trains ran, the buses ran, and everything was fine. And I genuinely think that somebody in England has got to get their head around what is needed when it happens, and I don't think they plan it that way. Whereas here, because
a warm coat and a shovel.
Yeah, I get you.
But they don't have any kind of. They have the same reaction when it gets hot over there.
Do you know what it was all based on?
It's just amazing.
Basically, in Britain, we're too mean to buy snow tyres. or even snow chains. We're too mean to do it. We spend all year driving around on little thin tyres, and all of a sudden it does a bit of snowing and we do a little skid and we go, oh my God! And that's it. We stop driving because we can't go to work now because it's snowing. The trains slide off the lines because it's a little bit wet because of the snow. We are ridiculous.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. We move on to another story which I think is ridiculous.
Can I just interrupt? We've just had a message.
What?
This is Dotty Dotty.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, bless.
Hello, Dorothy.
Hello, Dotty.
I will show respect even if Mr. Banks won't.
What, to Dotty Dotty?
Dorothy.
She's called Dotty. Good programme. I guess diets should be slow and over a longish period. One tip is, yeah, she's doing her own diet programme now. One tip is that when you're actually eating, you want a meal, you want to go, I don't understand that, Dorothy. I will go to the next bit. If you finish off the portion you should eat for the diet, you still feel a bit hungry. Leave it about 10 minutes later. You'll feel quite satisfied and don't want to eat any more. I'm sorry, I said that very badly.
I know, but I get the drift of that. No, you're right, Dorothy.
You've got to make your brain aware that you've had enough.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
Theresa May is going to be making a major speech next week in Downing Street, has told us, over the Brexit thing. And it makes me so annoyed when I go, no, she hasn't told us anything yet. Well, no, because you shouldn't. If you are negotiating, and I have to do this on a regular basis in business, and when you're negotiating, the last thing you would ever do is tell the people what you're negotiating, or who you're negotiating with, what you're going to do when you walk into the meeting, because that is just stupid. And it is stupid. And yet everybody's saying, well, we want to know, we demand it. Yeah, and when you do that, you've told the other 26 people you're negotiating with what you're about to do. Now, let me give you a clue here, boys and girls. The members of the EU are at one. They are going to say, if you want access to the free market, the whole market, you will have to have freedom of movement of people. And it's not negotiable. So all this waffle and people playing politics over it, it's not. It's one way or the other. They're not going to let you have access to the free market unless you have free movement of people. And I know that because I watch the television here.
Oh, exactly. Can we just drop in a different angle to this story, which I think is quite important? There's a story on the Consumer Watch Foundation. Remember that? Consumer Watch Foundation. Go and have a look. It's really good. It's about expats in Spain, right? There's almost 1 million expats, English expats living in Spain. And on the 18th of this month, a handful of them, I think it's possibly going to be 5 people, are going to come across to Britain to give evidence to the Exiting EU Committee, which is chaired by MP Hilary Benn. And they are going to ask that all the people who live abroad but are actually from Britain actually get dual nationality. With Spain, in Spain and Britain. And they've even said, if you only have to do this if these people have been living abroad for more than 10 years. And I think that actually is probably one of the crucial points about these debates. Well, and nobody's really doing anything.
Well, there is another group, Leigh, and I didn't include it on the list. They are predominantly Jewish people who, back in the day, which is like decades before, were from Spain and places like that. And their ancestors were all kicked out in the old... in fact, one woman said one of her ancestors were actually burnt at the stake because she was Jewish. And what they're doing is they're checking back on their heritage to see if they are genuinely Spanish and going for a Spanish passport. And there's a whole group of these people that live in the UK and they want to retain their EU citizenship. So it's just a bit messy at the minute, very, very messy.
It is.
You know what? If Theresa May's having any trouble, we've got some consultants.
Why did I know that was coming? I was looking at the register, which is a great read every now and again, and a customer has said, and they've written to the register, and they've actually admitted they missold fibre broadband. And what happened was the computer was saying something, the salespeople were saying something, everybody else was saying, yes, okay, but when you did it through a speed checking program, that said, you have not got really broadband, chaps. Pardon me. And it's something you need to be careful of, because this person switched from a £5 a month, it's about €8, TalkTalk package, to BT because they were saying, you can get millions of downloads and it's brilliant and it's £35 a month and, it's wonderful. Well, in actual fact, they were getting slower speeds than they were getting on their £5 a month package. And you do need to check this. And all you've got to do is go to speedtest.net, and that will tell you how fast. You've done it, Leigh.
Yeah. I've done it. I was just I did.
Hang on, why
is that lady laughing?
Why have you got your bits in a twist here?
I'm just reading this. It says the speed test revealed he was still getting just 18 megabytes per second. That's like 10 more than we get in Australia.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? I did this. Now, I must fill in the ladies and gentlemen and everybody with the details of what we pay. This is amazing. We pay, I think it is £35 a month for our broadband. But on top of that, the hidden extra is, of course, we pay £18 for our line. Our telephone line. So that brings our bill up to nearly £60.
Yep.
And Uncle Eric, that nice man, has actually checked our speed, and our speed is rubbish. What is really annoying about the fact is, if we phone up BT, which we've done on a regular basis, and say, excuse me, our thing is rubbish, all of a sudden it's better. It's better immediately. Then in a couple of weeks, all of a sudden, it's rubbish again. Now, the perceived wisdom, and Eric will be able to tell us if this is right or not, is that somebody at TalkTalk or BT turns up our speed, and then when they think we've got used to it and we're not noticing anymore, they turn it down again.
No, Leigh, I think we've had a similar scenario to this with our benefactor, Jan, and he lives in the middle of nowhere. He was quoted £20,000 by British Telecom to dig the road up and put fibre optic into his house because there is no fibre optic anywhere near him. And he was, by absolute fluke, I overheard this conversation, and I said, whoa. I said, I will be there on Monday. Don't do anything till I get there. And everybody sort of went, okay, and froze because I must have sounded a bit stroppy. And first thing I did was phone up the phone supplier for the company when I was there. And I said to the manager, can you get me 2 of these? Yes. Can you get me 2 SIM cards? Yes. Blah, 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 blah. Can you confirm 4G for me? Yes. How much will it be a month? £40. Okay, that'll do. I'll have 2 of those boxes and the 2 chips together equals £40. Thank you very much. How quickly can you get me? I don't know. They've only just come out. I said, don't care. I want them here yesterday because I'm going to go and tell the boss that it can be done. And he went, oh, my God, I'll be there in about an hour, Eric. I said, fine, I'll wait an hour. So we went in, and seriously, instead of paying £20,000 out, we paid £150 for 2 little boxes. We put the 2 phone SIM cards, for want of a better description, into the little boxes, which are also Wi-Fi units. And he went from it was kind of like a bird peeing the speed up to a horse peeing speed. It was like, boom! And
Rachel, don't you think that was a bit of a bad analogy?
Yeah, that was shocking.
Was it? Oh, okay.
Shocking. We're all apart. Is that why it's called an ISP?
Given the week we've had in American politics, I think it was really inappropriate too.
Very good. Anyway, okay, it went from a blocked tap to a brand new tap pouring out water, and the whole thing was just so brilliant. And he was getting sort of 30 megs up, 50 megs down. Everything was hunky-dory. And he's actually paying less than you are, Leigh, for his monthly fees. And
he's got more money than me.
And well, that's possibly true. That's because you won't give up the wine. And also, he hasn't got the problem with the line speed going up and down. And what's more, boys and girls, I even checked his house for 4G and he's got it.
I know.
And he hasn't done anything about it.
Something about
I'm paying 20 times as much as all of you, and I get 4.
I couldn't live with 4.
20 times? That must be an exaggeration.
Oh, I've told you 1,000,000 times I don't exaggerate.
Don't forget the advert is very true. The internet in Slovakia is far better than it is in Australia. And we have to squeeze some more stories in. The singer Charlotte Church and Rebecca Ferguson, who's from The X Factor, have both turned down the opportunity to sing at Donald Trump's inauguration. Why? I have no idea. They've made their statement. One of the ladies said he's a very nasty person, in fact, calling him a tyrant. I'm not so sure that's going to be the case. I have to admit that I watched the Trump... Did you two guys both watch the Trump press conference?
Yeah.
My nose started to bleed. I was that confused. I was just... It really was. It baffled
Why
me.
were you confused? Were you confused by the difference in his attitude and his presentation? The difference between that and how he'd done his campaign?
No, I was confused that nobody's told him that he is no longer in charge. He's no longer in charge. America is his boss. And he has
That's
to...
a very good point.
Actually, yeah,
he
that's
now
true.
has to respect the law of the land, and the Constitution says freedom of the press is paramount. So you can't be shutting down journalists left and right because you don't like the question.
Whoa.
Go on, then. Go on.
This all originated with BuzzFeed.
Yeah. It all originated with the spies who were now left out in the cold.
Well, there is that to it. But the big thing broke through BuzzFeed and everybody copied it. And the truth is, if you look at BuzzFeed and what it is a website to get lots of people to go there to make lots of money.
That's true, and we don't like those as a rule, but he can't be in a press conference and then saying afterwards that he's going to revoke press access to CNN. He can't do that.
Of course he can't.
You can't do that. He's behaving like a petulant child, so I'm not surprised because his attitude's exactly the same as his campaign. But I was baffled by how he handled this. And most of the time, it was somebody else talking anyway. It was some lawyer rattling off pages and pages of whatever. I was like... What is this? Isn't it a press conference? This is you doing more grandstanding with people behind you doing all the pontificating on your behalf.
I don't know.
Think the position... Sorry, go on, Eric.
Well, I saw a different Trump to that which there was during the election. And what I saw was, on one side, he was saying, if you catch me out and I'm wrong, that's okay. But don't report that I'm wrong and effectively guilty until the whole thing's been checked out. And that's what he was criticising CNN for. And do you know what? I agree with... Leigh will take the stance as I would normally, that, you have to talk to the press. And that's the way it works. But he doesn't have to. He genuinely doesn't have to.
Nobody has to talk to the press.
No.
There is absolutely no law that says you must talk to the press.
He can't exclude people. He can't exclude certain factions.
Well, he can actually.
He can.
That's what he wants to do.
Well, he shouldn't. It's unconstitutional and he shouldn't.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
What's constitutional is this. This is the simple fact, right? That report that BuzzFeed used and have been lambasted for came from basically the secret services and was being put together as some kind of dossier, and millions of these things are done and never go anywhere. This is what people forget. This was just something that was put together and ultimately, for various reasons, got given to BuzzFeed. Now, BuzzFeed had every right to take a chance on publishing in that because it was quite a shocking and scintillating read. But what now has happened is that the next president of the United States said it's a load of rubbish and he's not going to talk to CNN, he's not going to talk to other people.
And he actually said the BBC, that's another beauty. Yeah,
well, exactly. But also, the bloke who was involved in this report, the spy, the Jason Bourne of this adventure, has actually had to go on the run in fear for his life. Not necessarily because of Trump, more to do with Russia. Now, this is an amazing story, and for this to start at the beginning of his presidency is so shocking. And based on what Eric's just said, that there was a major sea change in his presentation. The problem with that is, what was he doing when he was campaigning? Can we not believe what he campaigned for? Is this the real man? And if this is the real man, what was the other bloke? Where is this man's veracity?
He did exactly what we said at the time. He mobilised the disenfranchised white 30-something voter. He mobilised them with hysteria, and he did it very well. And that's what won him the election. And that's what won him the election. It's amazing. But he promised a wall, right? He promised a wall that Mexico would pay for. Then it became a bit of a fence. It'll be a fence. And then it's like, oh, no, it probably will be a wall, but now we're going to pay for it. So he's flip-flopping all over the place. But there's more that concerns me about him. I am more scared of his vice president. Mike Pence is a complete psychopath and a lunatic, and he can come after me personally for that remark. I don't care.
Tell the Consumer Watch Foundation, we'll protect him.
No, I get where you're coming from, Rach. But I think on this story, it's one of those ones we're going to have to keep watching it to see where it goes, and then, to be honest, if it goes one way, there's going to have to be an apology. If it goes the other way, then how he's going to get out of it, I don't know. But one way, he's a huge winner globally for this kiss and tell mindset of people, which he could bring down by being proven right in what he's saying. On the other hand, if he's proven wrong, his tenure is going to be hard to sort of I
don't care if it's right or wrong. I'm not much fussed. I think the story is erroneous, and I don't think there's much truth to it, and I think it is a lot of hype and nonsense. But I think the way he just throws tantrums when somebody questions him, you can't do that. He's got to be more measured and considered when he deals with the press. Otherwise, what are you going to think is going to happen to this guy sitting in the Oval Office having a tizzy and calling some leader of the nation, a name, and calling him a loser, or calling him, how he went off on Meryl Streep. It was just like,
exactly. Right, we got to rush through a couple of stories. The first one is great news for Great Britain, because Snapchat, the Californian-based huge company, are going to set up in the UK. They're going to completely buck the trend where people go to Ireland, and they're doing so purely because of the new restructured corporate taxation system in the UK. It's going to be a whole bunch of staff in London, in the London office in Soho, and more jobs coming as well. And when you've got 150 million daily users, that's a big company to get into GB PLC. So well done to them, whoever negotiated all that lot. The Hillsborough suspect files have been passed to the Crown Prosecution Service in the UK. No one said sorry to the newspapers who got told off. Not surprises there. The final one we can sort of do a little bit on, and I have to say this is really weird. Goes back to the Brexit thing a little bit, where you've now got somebody else flip-flopping, to use your phrase, Rach. Mr Corbyn's at it again, where in one breath he's saying one thing, and in another breath he's saying something else.
Which bit?
Where he's saying he's not wedded to a particular limit, but the idea should be looked at as to the maximum amount of people that should be let into the country. So on one hand he's saying, well, we don't really want all that lot, but I'm not really fussed if we don't go that way because I haven't really got a solid decision.
Well, do you not think this is the failure of Jeremy Corbyn, and this is why he is single-handedly destroying the Labour Party, and is actually getting to the point where he's guaranteeing that he will never ever be elected into a position of power.
Possibly.
Because the man can't make his mind up.
Exactly. And I'm going to let Rachel finish the stories this week, so we've only got a minute and a half left. And I think this is a wonderful story. A 91-year-old man has been given an honourable discharge. Rachel?
Yes, this is fantastic. This gentleman was dishonourably discharged from the military in 1948 when Don't Ask, Don't Tell was alive and well. And now that's been repealed. But he was given an honourable discharge all this time later. And now that's done is that's set up for other people who have had the same thing happen to them to be honourably discharged, because there's a whole bunch of benefits that you don't get if you're dishonourably discharged. Mm-hmm. And to be just dishonourably discharged purely based on your sexual orientation is completely unfair and terribly discriminatory. But it's great. That's a wrong that's been righted. 91-year-old nice man can now go off into the rest of his life knowing that he's been vindicated.
I think that's wonderful.
I think it is a really nice story.
Yeah, it's about, and not before time as well, Rach. Not before time. Okay, well, that's about it. It's time for you to say goodbye, Rachel.
Goodbye, Rachel.
Oh. It's time for Sooty and Sweep to appear on the RTI network.
Thank you very much. I'll do Sooty and Sweep then. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
He does. He sounds just like it all the way through. He does. That's it from us, boys and girls, on the RTI network, as RTI Gold and One are joined up for the whole weekend. Next up here, it's only that Scottish fella wearing his kilt, Mr. K, on RTI. We'll see you again next week. Thanks very much indeed for your company. Have a great week and be careful.